Good evening, Mi Gente on air. Thank you for being with me here today. We have a very special guest, and I'm really excited to have her on my show. So I want everybody to come on into the room on social media platform. If you've got a question or a concern, please put it in the chat room because we have the one and only Elida Reyna, who is going to be headlining and opening up for our Cinco de Mayo festival here in Saginaw. So we're very excited about that. We want to thank Elida Reyna, who is live. She's coming in live from Texas, and we're really happy to have her here on the show today. She's one of the Tejano royalties of our Tejano royalty series that we had. We continue on from last year, as we always have the big name artists that come to our area for our annual celebration for the parade and festival. We're real excited. That's coming up May 4th, 2024. That's about 10 days away. So tune in to the room tonight. Come on in the live stream. I know we're live streaming a little early today because of scheduling conflicts, but we're here and we're going to be talking with the incomparable Elida Reyna.
Welcome to Mi Gente on Air on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com. Now, here is your host, Larry Rodarte.
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Mi Gente on Air. I'm so excited because we got a great show for you tonight. We've got a really special artist, and you can hear her in the background. One of her biggest hits, Luna Yene, Yuna. And we have Elida Reyna y Ivante performing as the headliner for the annual Cinco de Mayo of Saginaw, the 45th annual. And can you believe it? Elida Reyna is with us here tonight on Mi Gente on Air. Hello, Elida. How are you?
Hi, Larry.
Hello. Hey, there you are. Well, the first thing I said to Elida when she came on to the show, I says, "Do you remember from 15 years ago? Believe it or not, 2009, we had her on in Saginaw for the Happy New Year's dance from the Unión Cívica Mexicana. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. It snowed that night,
Yes, and can you
and
believe it's been 15
we were
years?
thrilled. 15 years, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
At the time.
So many of our listeners out in the area, especially the Latinos, of course, know Elida Reyna, but I want them to hear your story. Those that may not be Hispanic and that are listening to the program, please tell us how you began your career and got into the business.
I started at a young age. I've always, well, my dad claims that he knew I was going to be a singer at the age of 2 because they used to go to all the bailes, here in the valley. And he says they took me to a show one time. I was 2 and I was just learning how to walk. Excuse me. And I waddled my way up to the stage. And that I was admiring, all of these. I don't know. Can you see me? Sorry, I don't know. I got lost there.
Well, there you
Um,
go.
there I am.
I-
And so it just kind of started from there. I guess at 2 years old.
Oh, we lost her. I think we're going to have to start the show over here. Those of you who are in the room, we had Elida calling in on the live stream from Texas. And hopefully she'll be coming back into the room in a moment. But if you've got any questions or you want to put a comment up in the chat room, please do. Because, it's a rarity that we have an artist of her caliber here with us on Mi Gente on Air. So let's see if she's coming back. You want to halt the show and start over? There she is. Hey, hey.
Hey there.
All right, we're gonna start the show over, and just go from there because we lost you there for a minute.
Yeah.
It happened.
Welcome to Mi Gente on Air on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com. Now, here is your host, Larry Rodarte.
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Mi Gente on Air. I am your host, Larry Rodarte, and I'm so happy to be with you here today as we celebrate Latino culture, concerns, and contributions. And one of the great contributions that we have had throughout the last 30 years is the contribution by the singer Elida Reyna and her band, Ivante. And we have Elida here in the room. She's going to be headlining the 45th annual Cinco de Mayo that's coming up on May 4th, 2024. And we're so excited to have her here with us because it's been about 15 years since we had her at the Dow Event Center for the New Year's dance. So please help me welcome the incomparable Elida Reyna.
Hi there.
Hi, Elida. How are you?
How are you? I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, it's so good to see you again after all these years that we've made a contact. You know, it's been 15 years, believe it or not. And I know you are so busy because, as I said in the beginning of the show, you have contributed to the industry, Tejano music, Latino music in general, and it's just been nonstop. It's like every year, and you deserve an honor just for that because it's very difficult. I think anybody to continue at the pace that you have had touring and putting out new records. So thank you for that. Thank you so much. But please tell my listeners as we begin this show today, tell us how you got into the business. And I understand your father said that he knew at the age of 2 that you were going to be a singer.
Yeah, so he says, but I don't remember. However, at 9 years old, I was on the Johnny Canales show because, again, they were starting to see that I had an interest in music and singing. And then they would take me to all these concerts out here in the Valley. So it wasn't really until I saw Laura Canales perform here at our local KC Hall in Mercedes, Texas, where I grew up. And I just remember being in complete awe by her. And thinking, I remember she was wearing a fur coat that night and thinking, I want to be just like her when I grow up.
Wow.
And I got to take a picture with her at 9 years old. And so, yeah, it was just a beautiful experience. And then years later, we moved to Dallas, and I saw Roberto Pulido perform there, and he was another big inspiration. So fast forward, when we moved on to the Valley, I just remember thinking, palm trees, Roberto Pulido, in a nutshell.
Well, I know that you have moved around in Texas from San Antonio. You were born there. You've lived in Dallas at one point. Mercedes is where you've kind of grew up and all. Where are you today?
Yes. I currently live in McAllen, which is about 20 minutes from Mercedes.
I think she's an animal lover there, right?
Yeah, my dogs are in here. They're everywhere I go. They follow me. So sorry about that.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. So when did you know, like, you had this voice? I mean, if you were singing at 9 years of age on the Johnny Canales show, when did you actually say to yourself, "Wow, I think I can sing"?
I just always was very I was very shy. So to be able to perform in front of people, that came real easy for me. It was the talking, it was everything else, but the singing itself came very natural to me, which is oddly strange, I guess, because I'm an introvert, at heart. When you meet me, I'm quiet. Get a little tequila in me, and then things change. But but for the most part, I'm pretty quiet. Unless I know you and I feel comfortable, then I'm more talkative. But for the most part, I'm kind of quiet.
Well, I remember at the Dow Events Center, and you're going to be performing outside this time. Last time you were inside in the Dow Event Center in the Red Room, and you just were so genuine, and you connected with all the people. You took pictures with everybody who asked, and it just was a wonderful time. So And I remember going to the airport to Detroit Metro, taking you and Lalo, and I think we rented a van maybe, or I had a van, but it
Yeah.
just was a down to earth, time, and I
Mhm.
believe that you also went to my madrina's house, and she cooked some beans and frijoles and
She,
tortillas.
she
Yeah,
threw down.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just such a nice, time to spend with an artist because, we as your fans, we think, "Oh,
Mhm.
well, she's, this big star in Texas and throughout the Tejano world," and, it's just,
Thank you.
really nice to be able to have an interview with you here today and hear your dogs in the background, and you're just like everybody else.
Oh yeah.
So, you started your career in 1992, believe it or not, it's been over 30 years.
Mhm.
Tell me what has been really your staying power, because to do what you have done, and you've carried this huge load for the Tejano industry. Tell me,
Mhm.
how do you feel about that?
I don't really think about what anybody else is doing. I feel like I'm just um I've continued because I have a great team around me. And mind you, while we're, you know, pursuing our career, we're also having a family, like I had 3 kids, and it's like, a balance, like they say, a balancing act. But and I don't think any of that would have been possible if I didn't have a great support system. Being a female in the industry, it's not as easy as it would be a male. And so a man can, have kids with his wife, and the wife stays home and takes care of the kids. However, in my case, my husband and I were both on the road together, and we had a child, and then I had uh, a daughter and a son from my previous marriage. And so I would have to leave every weekend or sometimes during the week to be in the studio. All that good stuff that comes with it. It comes with the package. But I'm very lucky in that my mom and my dad have always helped me with the kids. And my best friend too. So during the week, my best friend would help me take care of my kids. And then on the weekends, my mom and my dad would step in, or my in-laws would step in too. So we've always had that support system. And had it have not been for that, it would have gotten really tricky. I mean, we would have probably still been on the road, but it would have been, it would have been one of those things where I probably wouldn't have the peace of mind that I had knowing that they were with my parents or with my in-laws, or
Yeah.
with my friends.
Well, you have had so many hits, and I've been a fan since day one. I remember you on the TTMA Awards when you sang Luna Llena,
Oh yeah.
and that was, I think, I wanna say 1995, I'm not sure of the year,
Mhm,
but, songs like Duele, I know you've written some of the songs, not all of them, but you
mhm,
definitely wrote Duele. How does
mhm.
that feel to, have written some of these huge hits that have become anthems in the Tejano industry and in the Latin American music industry?
Um, well, because you were saying, have we uh, maintained, or how
Yes.
we managed to keep this longevity going? I think it also, what has also helped is that we've had a great connection with our fans in the music. The connection with our songs, with the music, has also helped. Obviously,
Uh-oh.
it's also helped is
It looks like it's, freezing up again. I wanna, if we can, play her medley of hits while she gets her camera ready again. We're gonna hear some of the hits of Elida Reyna y Ivante as she fixes her camera up, because she's had so many hits through the years. It's just really been the soundtrack of our lives, really. And I just love hearing her sing so many variety of hits.
Quiero sentir tu dulce amor en todo momento. ti mi vida entera y como te quiero. Y duele. Ay, por Dios, cómo me duele. Adicta a ti, adicta a tu amor.
We're hearing some of the great hits of Elida Reyna. Elida, are you still with us?
No ves que me estoy muriendo, el dolor que tu amor me causó. Te ruego no me dejes, yo te pido, solo quiero estar contigo, juntos hasta morir. Tú y yo volaremos hacia el cielo. Dame un beso y tú dalo, pero así, 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 y ven a mí, a mí.
Well, that's the medley of hits that Elida has had through the years. I mean, it sounds so good. And we're gonna try to get her back onto the show through a phone call from Texas. She's having difficulty probably with her internet over on that side, but so you get to look at me for the time being until we see what we come up with. But we've got a lot of comments already in the show here, and I just want to read some of them before until we get her back on. But Angela Blanco says, "Hi, Elida. Welcome back to Saginaw. We are so excited to have you at our 45th annual Cinco de Mayo festival. We are ready to sing along with you. Safe travels. We will see you next weekend." Marcy Sanchez says, "Hello, Elila. Thank you for coming to Michigan. Safe travels. Can't wait to see you perform." Toyo Rosas, he says, "Going to be a great time in Saginaw. Cinco de Mayo celebration for all, both daytime at the fiesta and at the after party at the Vault." Val Blanco says, "Hello, Elida. Excited to have you back in the Midwest with us, and you are bringing Matt Maya Sr. back home on his birthday weekend." Matt is from the Saginaw area. His family and friends here are ready to celebrate with you. Also, Tomas Salazar, he says, "Elida, we have some Don Julio for you and the fellas on Cinco de Mayo. Can't wait to see you perform." So there you have it. I mean, there's a lot more comments here, and I'm going to read them hopefully maybe in the part of the show or at the end of the show, but we're trying to bring it back, that connection. But let's talk about Cinco de Mayo, the details. It's May the 4th, and that's a Saturday. And as always, we start out with the parade, and it's going to start at 10:30 in the morning, and it'll probably run to about 12 p.m. And it's going to be going northbound on Michigan Avenue. It's starting over at around the Garber Courts on Fordney, and we'll cross the Court Street Bridge onto taking a right north on Michigan Avenue to Sassa, so that we will be in the downtown area when it's finished, because then we have the festival at the Joke Credit Union Event Park, and that's going to be from 12 to 5 p.m. And we're going to have the Detroit Ballet Folklorico dancing, the young kids that had put on a tremendous show of Ballet Folklorico. And then we've got Elida Reyna and Ivante, who is going to be our headliners. Also, we have Grupo Ilusión with Tommy Salazar from Pontiac, Michigan. And then we have Ritmo de Furio from Grand Rapids, Michigan, a high-energy Mexican regional band. So we're going to have quite a bit of entertainment along with the bouncy houses that are going to be there for the kids, as well as a number of different vendors and some of the best food trucks in the area putting out their good Mexican foods, about 10 trucks. So if you're hungry, make sure, when you come to the Cinco de Mayo, that you look at the options that are there for the food trucks, because you're not just going to eat at one of them. And we're just trying to put that plug out there for, Wonder Burger is going to be out there, Wella's Kitchen, Cobb King, the Civica's food truck foods, as well as TNT and Maria's restaurant. There's a whole bunch of them. I'm not naming them all, but I'm pretty close to it. And then afterwards at the Vault, we're going to be at the Vault. That great venue for concerts is going to be hosting Elida Reyna y Ivante. as well as Grupo Ilusión. And I hear that they've remodeled it and it's looking really nice, especially the VIP seats that they have in the house. So get your tickets early. They're being sold now at TNT Authentic Mexican Restaurant, as well as at the Vargas Tortillas. And you want to get them early because I think this show is going to be pretty packed because I believe personally it's going to be the party of the year because to have this type of caliber of entertainment and from what I understand, those who have seen her show in Texas, they say she really puts on a great show. Hey, she's been in the industry for 30 years and she's got all these massive hits. And I can't wait till everybody's raising the glass and singing Duele with her because if you get a chance to see that, the women really put their heart into it. The guys are just kind of looking at them like, wow. And so I'm going to probably be filming Honda Vargas, who will be there just like she was in 2015. So that's what's going on for Cinco de Mayo. We're still kind of waiting to see if we can bring Elida back into the show. I don't know. She's having probably some internet connections, just like Bobby Polido did last year. I remember he was in an area where the internet connection wasn't that good, but we were able to make it happen. So, Elida, if you're out there and you can see this, I hope you come back into the show because it was a good interview, wasn't it? Didn't you think, Jonathan?
It was going pretty well there. I had never heard of her. I liked hearing some of that music. Definitely, I not a Tejano fan, especially hadn't really heard of the genre before knowing Larry. Yeah, but no, good interview, good music from the sounds of it, and for someone who's been in the industry as long as she has, well, you'd expect that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and I loved how we were hearing the footprints. I mean, her dog in the background. She said they follow her everywhere, and that was just really nice to see that she was so down to earth. And is there a way we could take a break from the show and try to hook her back up in?
We can do that.
Let's do that because I know that we had a number of people in the room and watching the show, and we're going to take a break, try to bring Elida back on because you don't want to see me, you want to see her, right? So we're going to be right back with Mi Gente on Air.
You're listening to Mi Gente on Air on WSGW.
Okay, we're back. Thank you for tuning in to Mi Gente on Air. We had some technical difficulties, but we do have Elida back in the show, and she's calling on a phone, interviewing the old wave before we had cellular phones. So, Elida, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, you sound loud and clear there. So, sorry about that. Sorry that you're...
No, I'm sorry. Apparently, somebody was calling me on Messenger, and for whatever reason, it just completely cut off the FaceTime.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
They probably weren't aware you were in an interview, but let's go back and talk about some of these songs that you've written, like Duele, of course, and everybody knows Luna Llene. They know Muévete. They know so many of the songs. How prolific of a songwriter are you in regards to writing most of your music? Because I know in the early days you really were much more of a writer than you were, say, today, or have you regained the love for writing music?
I love writing. I think it's very intimidating when you have these songwriters that we've been working with nowadays that are just so talented, and I just feel like I'm not worthy. I'm not as good as they are. And so when you get great material like that, I mean, it's just easier to use their material. However, I do have to say that it is through originality, and I think it was through the songs that I wrote that I was able to connect with, and those to date are still, some of the best songs we've ever. We cannot go a show without, like, say, performing Duele or, Luna Llena, which is not mine, but Te Sigo Amando's mine, and several others that Lalo and I have written together. And then Lalo being my husband, who's also a songwriter, producer, arranger. And so he's written songs like Adicta, and I mean, the list goes on and on. He and I both wrote Prefiero Morir together. So yeah, we have our little repertoire of songs that we've written together, some that I've done on my own, and then some that he's gone on to collaborate with other songwriters as well.
I love the song Domingo, and I know he wrote that.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
we
remember
wrote that
talking
one
with you guys
together.
about that in 2009. And just the melody of that song is just so beautiful.
Well, that's all Lalo.
Yeah.
He came up with this beautiful melody, and I remember at that time we were, it was like for me, it was like starting all over again, because I'd already been with Avante for 10 years, and then when the band, we decided to go our separate ways. For me, it was like starting all over again. So Lalo and I basically started from scratch, and that was one of the songs that we wrote together in our little apartment, and just starting back up again.
Yeah.
So yeah.
In 2009, I remember you. I attended the President Obama's Latino inaugural banquet, and you were there performing with Michael Salgado. I remember you
Yes.
singing Duele. It was such a incredible event because you had so many Latino stars, and I remember you there. And tell me the story of I remember somewhere in the interview you said that George Lopez was singing Duele.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Well, talk about mind blowing. Actually, my husband's the one that saw him up on the. Excuse me. He saw him up on the balcony, and he was with other actors, and I think one of them was Wilmer Valderrama was with him.
Yeah.
And they were singing Duele. Michael and I, of course, performed together with mariachi, Tejano, which is a world-renowned mariachi, and we sang our song together, Quedamos como amigos, and then I sang Duele by myself, and then I believe Michael sang again. But talk about surreal, because we're surrounded by all these famous Latino actors and actresses, people that I've admired through the years, and then to find out that George Lopez was singing our song I had already forgotten about that, so thank you for reminding me. But those are definitely memories that I'll always cherish, because we were there at such a pivotal time, in for our country, especially being, also representing not only the Latinos but the Tejanos. So that was a beautiful experience.
Yeah. I want to let my audience know that, like, you had all walks from the Latino industry in terms of, like she said, actors, singers, what have you. And I remember, like, Shakira was there, and War was there, the group War, and you had a number of different acts.
Jennifer Lopez was there.
Yes, Jennifer Lopez. And you know what? I got so excited. I got more excited when I saw you and Michael there, because you were representing
Really?
us. Yes, you were
Oh,
representing the
that was awesome.
Tejanos, and I was just so excited. I actually got pictures of that night as well, and I took pictures of you guys. So it was an incredible time, because it was an incredible change in our country, in the history, and for Barack Obama to become president. And then so it was really nice to see somebody representing what I consider Tejano, my people, Mi Gente.
Right.
So that was really nice. But let me ask you about what do you remember about Saginaw, Michigan? You have, like I said earlier in the show, performed for New Year's Dance in 2009, and then I know at the Q Club, those of you out there that remember the Q Club in Saginaw, Elida performed there in 1996. Toyo's parents, Lupe, Rosas, and Irene brought them to the Q Club. What do you remember about Saginaw?
I just remember, I remember a warm welcome. People were so just happy to see us there, because I guess it's like one of those things where you don't get a lot of Tejano music out there. So, and see here, people are so used to Tejano that they somewhat take it for granted that there's all these bands. But then when you go somewhere where they don't really play Tejano, you really do feel the love and you feel the appreciation. And I definitely felt it when I went. And that's why I'm really excited about going back, because, and not only that, but Michigan holds a very dear place in my heart, because like I was telling you earlier, Larry, that, you know, I lived there for 2 years, in my summers, you know, but those are some of the best summers of my life, was that I spent them there in Michigan with my mom and my dad, because my mom and my dad took me to experience what it would be like to live that life, you know, as a migrant worker.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we picked strawberries and cucumbers, but it was just me, my mom, and my dad. So, you know, it just brings back a lot of wonderful memories. And as a matter of fact, my mom said, "What, you're going to Michigan?" She's like, "I wish I could go with you." You know, she was so excited for me that I was going. My dad has early stages of dementia, so my mom's been his caretaker. And so it's been hard on her, and I wish I could take her with me, and I really wish I could. But I mean, he's okay. He's doing okay. He has his good and bad days.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I wish I could take both of them, because, again, I just cherish the time that I spent with them over there.
Well, most of those in the audience, when you're going to be here in Saginaw, all descend from those, our parents, our grandparents, who came, you know, from Texas or Mexico, and they came because of the migrant trails
Yeah.
and working, and whether in Traverse City picking cherries, or even in Saginaw and Seboween picking cucumbers. So, you know, that's who's here. That's who's here, and that's why we have such a love for the Tejano music and the genre that you are in.
Wonderful. That's
So
wonderful.
So if you know, so many years ago you signed with Freddie Records, but that wasn't your first label. I think Freddie Records was maybe 2013, and you lived through that process of changing labels, like in the heyday of Tejano music. You know, and the marketing was so vastly different, you know, from today, because today you got social media and everything else. How does that play out for you in your music today?
Well, there's pros and cons. And I think for me personally, would it have been awesome to have had FaceTime? I mean, I'm sorry, Facebook back then? Heck yeah. You know, it wouldn't have been as hard, I think, because I was such a go-getter. And I feel like I would have been all over Facebook, you know, like I see a lot of these young, hungry kids now, that, you know, they're on social media and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Now that I'm older, I'm not on as much, because I guess I should, like any other artist would be. But I think I would have just hit it a little harder when I was younger. Now, back then, you know, growing up 15, 16 years old, my way of getting out into the public persona was through playing, you know, going to quinceañeras, going to weddings, and getting up on stage and singing live with whoever was playing. Like, I was not shy about that. You know, that's one thing that I would ask them if I could, I would beg them if I could sing a song with them. And, you know, they would roll their eyes at me, and they would, like, you know, do that bit. But then once they heard me sing, I had a couple of bands offer me jobs after that. So that was pretty cool, you know. That's basically how I started, was word of mouth and just going here and there. As opposed to now, you can just load a video and boom, everybody, the world can see you. It's just crazy to me. But are things different? Oh yeah. And then another thing too is people's attention spans are a lot shorter than they were back then. You could put out a single and it could last you 3-4 months. You know, now it'll last you just a while, and then the people are just the fans just want more. You know, faster. They want more.
Yeah.
All the time, every day. You know. So that's what's changed, I think.
Yeah. Isn't that something how
Yeah.
what did we do before the cell phones? That's what sometimes I ponder and I think, how do we keep
Right.
ourselves so occupied? Because I get that notification where it tells you how many hours you've spent
Yeah.
on your phone for
Crazy.
the previous week, and I'm like, holy cow, what did we do? I think we sat back and we listened to records on the 45s on our record players and just enjoyed
Right.
life.
Yeah, and we had cassettes. I had tons of cassettes and CDs, and then came the CDs. Now, and we still sell our CDs at our live shows. We also sell them online because I have an online store. But now you have to stream the music, so you have to go to Spotify or you have to go to Apple Music to stream the music. It's hard to come by those hard copies. I would assume, well, being from Michigan, that it's a little harder to get a hold of the CDs, but we still offer them. Freddie Records still offers them, and I know they ship out overnight, and so do we. So I think definitely a lot has changed. I know I'm more old school. I like the actual hard copy myself because I like to look at the credits.
Yeah.
I like to see who recorded and who did what and all that good stuff. But yeah, luckily we still have CDs, but for how much longer, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it was in 2022 you won the Latin Grammy, and that
Yes.
wasn't your first time. You won it also in 2013, I believe it was. So you're a multi Latin Grammy winner. How does that sound, and what do you feel about that?
Well, amazing.
Mhm.
Amazing. That's one thing that I didn't ever expect or imagine.
Mhm.
And so now to have now won two is just mind-boggling to me. But just being there, surrounded by all these established. I mean, you're talking superstar, Latin icons in the industry, and then to go up on a stage and thank everyone, and then you see, your favorites like Luis Juan Luis Guerra, or and they're sitting right in front of you, and you're talking about, thanking everybody and thanking your label. It's just crazy. It's so surreal.
Well,
For sure. It's definitely an out of body experience.
I think anybody, say in my area, that may have been watching those Latin Grammys, to see you up there and winning, we were rooting for you because, like I said, you're Tejano, you're like us. That's what Michigan. In Saginaw, we are a Tejano town. Lansing's the same way. Flint's the same way, pretty
Wow.
much. And so, you're one of us, and you're up there amongst
Thank
all
you.
these big artists, like you say, and you win. So that was really awesome. And we're
Yeah.
really proud of you and what you've done in these last 30 years. Does it seem to you like it's been 30 years?
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't feel that way at all. In many aspects, it almost feels like, because I'm an artist and you constantly have to be recreating yourself as far as your image, your music. Yes, you'll always have the songs that everybody knows you by, that notoriety, right? Of course, when people think of Elida, they think of Luna Llena, they think of Duele, and that's amazing. But still, as an artist, you're okay. You're always fighting yourself in that. Okay, so how am I going to top that? How am I going to top Duele? How am I going to top Luna Llena? And so, it's a constant. How can I say? Trying to outdo yourself and do better for your fans. It's just one of those things where you think, how many artists, like myself, when I started, and from the first album I had a hit, I had a smash hit, Luna Llena. And I look at artists today and I want that so much for them, but sometimes they're almost there. They just need that one song. And I just say they have a great voice. They have it. They just need that song, and here, I've been in the industry 30 years, and not only do I have Luna Llena, I have Duele, I have Adicta, we have a great group of songs that we've done very well with, thanks to the fans, right? But I feel very fortunate because it doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
And so I'm very, very, very blessed
Yes.
that
And your career has just been phenomenal. And you're right. I mean, you're one of these people that, you're like a star in the galaxy of stars, but it's just like that type of career doesn't come every day. And it really is a
Right.
blessing because not only to you as the individual experiencing it, but to the fans and to the people who are listening, because like I've
Yeah.
said, you were like the soundtrack of our lives, and those songs, whether they were the huge hits or, the lesser hits, they were all part of that package that, made us love you so much through the years. And,
Thank you.
we definitely gotta play your latest hit, Sierra Eras Boquita, because man, that is a phenomenal hit too. Can you tell us a little bit about that just before we play it?
Sure. And just to clarify, I've been with Freddie since 2006, 2006, and prior to that, I was with my other label for almost 10 years, and so yeah, I mean, I've been with 1, 2, 3, 4 labels, and now I've been with Freddie for the longest, right? And it's just he's so awesome, Freddie Jr., Freddie Sr., very supportive of everything that we've done, what we've recorded, and to come this far, well, as old as my daughter is. My daughter's 16, going on 17. That's how long we've been with Freddie Records. So, isn't that amazing to have that kind of relationship? What was the question? What was your question
Your
again?
latest hit. Your latest hit.
Yes. So come, with this new album, or this new EP, we have the song called Cierra esa boquita, and the songwriters are from Mexico. And again, like I was saying, these amazing, amazing songwriters. They also wrote our song with Bobby Pulido. I collaborated with Bobby last year, and we also made a video together. And I think we recorded 3 or 4 of their songs, these songwriters. And Sierra esa boquita is one of them. And it's just been doing so well on radio. It's been doing well at the live shows. We also have a video for it that you can check out on YouTube. And yeah, it's just a song called Cierra esa boquita. Great song.
Let's hear that. Let my audience hear that right now.
Cierra esa boquita, calladita se ve más bonita. Netas por tu bien, te lo dice quien. Si quisiera hablar, te dejaría sin palabras, porque la verdad, yo sí tengo cara. No como tú que me engañaste, no como tú que te burlaste, no tienes vergüenza ni tantita madre para atreverte a mentir. No como tú con el descaro, no como tú no te hice daño. Tengo en mi conciencia que todo mi tiempo luce para hacerte feliz.
Wow, what a beautiful song! Another addition to your long list of hits. And how does it make you feel when you hear that?
I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's a great feeling to have these amazing songs. These great songwriters. And we're getting ready to get back into the studio probably within the next month or so. We shoot a video tomorrow with it's a song that we recorded with Los Palominos, James Ariola from Los Palominos. So we're getting ready to do that, and that's going to be our new release on the radio as well.
And that's going to be at a ranch, right? Because that was one of the reasons why you couldn't do the show tomorrow, because you're going to be filming on a ranch.
Yes, we're filming tomorrow. That's true. Yeah.
Wow.
We'll be shooting all day tomorrow.
Well, you have had some major hits as well, and have recorded with some of the big names like Michael Salgado, Jesse Turner, a beautiful song. Jay Perez, Bobby
Yes,
Polido.
yes.
How does that happen? Because sometimes, you know, you hear about artists, they don't want to perform with anybody else, but you've put yourself out there, and they have been some beautiful, beautiful songs.
They have. They have. Like I said, it's been fun, and it's always it's a wonderful challenge, you know, to just, you know, put your styles together and then just kind of make it your own, make it both your styles. I know, like the song with Jay, and like the one that we'll be doing with Palominos as well. It's a little bit of Palominos, but it's also got our flair. So it's really interesting when you put those two together. But it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. And it's a great way to, you know, just like see how they work. You know, just sit there and watch them work is fun and amazing. You know, and you learn from it as well. So I know when we recorded with Bobby, we went to Zapata and recorded in Intocable's studio, and so that was a lot of fun, and it was different. We try to change it up just so that, you know, we don't get complacent, or, you know, we've recorded at Freddy's for so many years that every now and then you got to change it up a bit to just liven it up and make it exciting, you know. So who knows what the future's going to bring, but we're hoping to also record at other studios in the near future.
One of my favorite songs is Muévelo Así. Just the vibe on that song. Can you tell me
Yeah.
a little bit about that? Is there a story behind that one? Because that is, you know, quite different from your music, but it's just
Yeah.
such a good dance song.
Well, the original version, it was just real, like, the best way that I could explain it was just raw and had a real nice cumbia rhythm. And then we brought in a friend of ours, Babo, who was with AB Quintanilla for many, many years. We kind of brought him in and said, why don't you see what you can do with it, you know, spice it up. And so, I mean, it was night and day from what it was, from the way we had it. But basically, we're just sitting around we were at Jesse Turner's porch one day, and we had already written out the lyric, and we kind of had to change it up a little bit. Had another friend of ours, another songwriter, who helped us change it up a bit, and that's where we came up with Lola C. And then I remember recording it in the other studio, in Freddie Senior's studio, which normally we record in the other studio across the hallway. And I distinctly remember recording it there, and we had to because for a certain reason. But it was a lot of fun in that it was something totally different, like you said, something different. And again, it had like Babo's flair. I did like the original version, which Lalo recorded. Lalo actually did an arrangement for it, but then we decided to change it. And what you hear on the radio now is what we decided to go with. And of course, we brought in this friend of ours from Miami to do the rap part as well. So this was a lot of fun. And then, of course, we made the video in Corpus at one of the local clubs in town.
Well,
so, yeah.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you guys sing that at the fiesta, please dedicate it to me. It's just my favorite, my favorite song from you, as well as Domingo as well. And I want to tell my audience that this is a cover from Mi Gente. I've been actually publishing Mi Gente as long as Elida has been singing. And she actually signed this one back at the New Year's dance in Saginaw in 2009. Isn't that a beautiful cover of her? And so we're real excited to have her coming for the Cinco de Mayo, which is May 4th, 2024. And she will be performing at the Joke Credit Union Event Park for the festival, and then also at night in Saginaw at the Vault for the dance, the after party dance that we're going to have. And I tell you, it's going to be the party of the year. So you want to make sure you get your tickets, because I think we're in for a real treat. Tell me, Elida, you know, as we talk about your beautiful career and all, what's next? What's next for you in the band?
Well, we want to continue recording. We're excited about getting back into the studio again and just creating. I think that's the beautiful thing about being an artist is just to create, the creative process, getting in there with the guys and just coming up with different arrangements, different styles. And as you know, music is constantly changing. You have to change with it.
Yeah.
But of course, still keeping the essence of who we are, and so we're just going to have fun and we're going to get in there, get some great songs. And again, try to find songs that not only that, because you're always worried, like, are the fans going to like it? But I think at the end of the day is if we feel it, if we feel that the song is right and it's just, everything is just, I think that people they're going to connect with it or to it, and they're going to like it, because it's just, I feel like we've obviously done a good job so far,
Yeah.
And like I said, it's just fun to get in there and see what we can create together as a band.
Good job. It hasn't been a good job. It's been an incredible job.
Thank you.
You really are the premier artist, and have really, like I said before, you carried the weight of Tejano really with a number of different artists. But like you said, being a female out in the industry has probably been a little bit more difficult, and you have really rose to the occasion. And I want to ask you, as we're less than 2 minutes now into the show, or left of the show, I want to know what we can expect for the 45th annual Cinco de Mayo Saginaw when you headline it.
They can expect to hear all of the Elida hits. That's for sure.
Oh wow, that's going to be great.
We put them all on this album, I think, and then some. I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised. They're going to enjoy it. I think they're really gonna get a lot of that, not just Elida flavor, but the Valley flavor too, because we're adding a little bit of tidbits of the Valley flavor in there as well. And I'm talking like the border town, the border type of music, So with that being said, we're gonna surprise you, and like I said, we're gonna put on a great show. We're bringing Ivory Tour 2024 to Saginaw, Michigan. We can't wait.
All right. Well, say hello to your husband Lalo for me. It's been a long time. I'm sure he doesn't remember me, but I remember him. Say hi to the rest of the band, and we can't wait to have you here for the 45th annual Cinco de Mayo of Saginaw. Muchísimas gracias, Elida. It's so good to see you and hear you, and I can't wait to reconnect after all these years.